Who is Edward Tolman's? Edward C. Tolman was born a pioneering researcher within the field of learning theory and motivation. Tolman is best known for introducing purposive behaviorism, his own brand of behaviorist inquiry, which emphasized the role of cognition within the learning process. Edward Tolman served as president of the American Psychological Association, APA, in 1937 and received the APA Award for Distinguished Scientific contributions in 1957. Definition of Edward Tolman's purposive behaviorism. Edward Tolman's purposive behaviorism is a theory of psychology that integrates cognitive principles and behaviorist ideas with the assumption that behavior is goal-directed and purposeful, unlike the dominant behaviorism that is merely concerned with stimulus response relations in general. Purposive behaviorism explains the internal cognitive processes that control behavior. Tolman believed humans and animals learn cognitive maps, mental representations of the world that direct their behavior towards certain goals. He formulated the theory of latent learning, proving that learning could be achieved without conscious reinforcement and did not necessarily have to manifest in behavior at once. Tolman's work significantly influenced the development of cognitive psychology, emphasizing the role of mental representations and internal processing in learning and behavior. Edward Tolman's famous experiment. Edward Tolman's rat maze experiments aim to understand how rats learn. He found that rats develop cognitive maps, mental representations of the maze, rather than simply responding to stimuli. These experiments demonstrated latent learning, where rats learned the maze layout even without immediate rewards. This challenged the dominant behaviorist view that learning only occurs with reinforcement. Tolman's work significantly contributed to the rise of cognitive psychology. One of his best-known experiments was to divide rats into 3 groups to explore what happens in the learning of a maze through reinforcement. Consistent reward group - these rats received food at the end of the maze as a reward for each trial. They learned to solve the maze better through repeated trials, making fewer mistakes per trial. No reward group - rats in this group were never rewarded with food after finishing the maze. Their performance was not significantly improved, and they continued to generate a lot of errors, showing little motivation to learn the maze. Delayed reward group - the first 10 trials, none of these rats got any reward in the form of food. Food was added to the end of the maze for the 11th trial. To everyone's surprise, once food was introduced as a reward, these rats managed to equate the consistent reward group performance, investigating the maze with practically no mistakes. In his experiments with rats in mazes, Tolman observed that even without direct rewards, rats seemed to develop a mental map of the maze. When later introduced to a reward, these rats could navigate the maze more efficiently than those without prior exposure, suggesting they had learned about the maze, latent learning, even without reinforcement.